This is Dr. Jerome Corsi, and today it's Friday. It's February 2nd, 2024. Thank you for joining us on thetruthcentral.com. You can follow me on X at CorsiJerome1. We're going to be expanding with CloudHub. I'm on CloudHub. That's going to be a major location for us to find our content, cloudhub.com. And I'm on CloudHub. I think you just have to search my name, Dr. Jerome Corsi. I'm at Dr. Jerome Corsi, all together, no spaces or period, on cloudhub.com. And that's going to become a major destination for us in the next few weeks. And I'll explain why as we get it developed. I'm on Substack now, too. I'm beginning to get paid subscribers, and we're posting a lot more content on Substack. You can find me on Substack at Jerome Corsi, PhD, .substack.com, Jerome Corsi, PhD, altogether, .substack.com. There's a lot of news today. I want to start out with Iran. I've been reporting on Iran since 2005 and 2006. Iran's building nuclear weapons, and they are a major threat because they have said death to Israel, death to the United States, and they mean it. Now, Iran had this attack, a drone attack on U.S. forces around Jordan, and with the drone attack, they killed 3 Americans. So now the Biden administration is saying they have to retaliate in order to, and the retaliation is going to include non-military measures, but they're also going to do attacks. There's going to be violence. There's going to be a war. Now, what kind of war, I don't know, because the U.S. and Iran have been waging this kind of shadow, proxy war with Hezbollah and Hamas and ISIS and the hatred for Israel and us supporting Israel. Well, the Biden administration is not all that deep in its support for Israel. And you can see that by Tony Blinken, our genius Secretary of State, flying around the world and saying that he wants to recognize the Palestinian state. So essentially, we're going to have violence. We're going to have an attack, a U.S. military attack on Iran of some kind or other. I don't know whether it'll be a drone strike or what they're going to do, because they're trying to, I'm sure, in the Pentagon, calculate how they can do this without causing a major war to escalate. Now, a lot of questions about this drone attack. I mean, what drone was it? How did it approach this complex and unnoticed? It's almost like it was assumed to be a U.S. drone. Is this a U.S. drone that was found in all the equipment that Biden left when he ran away out of Afghanistan and abandoned billions of dollars of U.S. military equipment? Who was operating this drone? I don't trust anymore the U.S. government not to run false flag attacks. And quite frankly, I don't know what happened in this incident, but I'm very, very suspicious because, again, not enough details are explained and the pieces don't fit together. That's when it gets my attention that we're being lied to. And my assumption today is that the Biden administration is telling us something officially. I'm assuming they're lying, and I just want to figure out why they're lying, because I don't think they can tell the truth about anything. Okay, so now they're saying, well, they're going to hit Iranians' paramilitary forces, which they have done already. And Iran, over the last couple of days, have withdrawn a lot of their top, this Revolutionary Guard, which is the most militant of Iran's forces. They've withdrawn them from their bases in Syria and other countries, because when the U.S. does attack, they don't want top Revolutionary Guard generals like this Soleimani, whom Trump got rid of by a strike on Soleimani, and that about provoked a war with Iran. But again, if Iran tries to take its forces back out of Iraq, Yemen, Syria, and Lebanon, Iraq loses face as being the axis of militia, read terrorists, against the United States and Israel. So what the Wall Street Journal is reporting is that each side is trying to calibrate the use of force in a way of trying to change the behavior of the other side, but they don't want to cross red lines. That's according to Gerald Fierstein, former U.S. State Department official and senior fellow at the Middle East, probably medieval is about right, Washington think tank. And here Biden, who's wandering around Detroit, not knowing where he is, I think, wandering in out of restaurants. He's said he's going to hold Iran responsible for the drone attack that killed the 3 American soldiers in Jordan. Yeah, okay, where's his proof? And I don't trust anything the State Department or the Pentagon says at all, because they're pressing for a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel before Israel has cleaned out Hamas out of the Gaza. Now, after the October 7th attack, Israel is going to make sure that that type of attack does not occur again, and they're going to try to eradicate Hamas. In the West Bank, where the Palestinian Authority is supposed to be in charge, it's really Hamas running the West Bank. And Hamas is determined to destroy and eliminate, kill Jews, and destroy the Jewish state of Israel. Wipe it off the map. That's the whole Ahmadinejad theory of Iran and the Shiite Islam, that this Mahdi went down the well from the family of the Prophet Muhammad centuries ago. And when the Mahdi emerges out of hiding, there'll be a worldwide apocalypse, and Israel will be gone, and Iran will triumph over Sunni Islam. This is absolutely insanity. This is Middle Ages nonsense that is dictating current geopolitics on the verge of nuclear war. Okay, so the White House is giving Iran time to reposition personnel and equipment so that they can not have attacks which cause Tehran to feel like it has to respond in another military way, upping the violence and getting into a direct shooting war with the United States. Our military can't handle it. We've got generals running around with wigs and dresses. Our military is stretched thin. We couldn't even evacuate out of Afghanistan without abandoning all the equipment. And on Wednesday, the U.S. Navy's guided missile destroyer in the Red Sea said it intercepted a ballistic missile fired from a Houthi-controlled area of Yemen and shot down 3 Iranian drones in its vicinity without injuries to the crew or damage to the ship. Well, the Houthi missile hits a U.S. warship, it's going to put more pressure to go to war with Iran. And so now this genius Biden administration, this woke genius Biden administration, neo-Marxist wanting to destroy America, is, I think, actively trying to cause World War III. And, of course, we have Putin with nuclear weapons in Belarus. And so far, we have not given Zelensky the kind of weaponry he would like to have to attack Russia. If that violence escalates, and by the way, the EU did finally yesterday grant more money to Ukraine. I guess Orban and Hungary got threatened that the EU was going to take money away from that they were allocating for Hungary if Hungary did not go along with the EU providing more money to be stolen in Ukraine. This Ukraine war is insane. The State Department's Hillary Clinton, going back to when she was Secretary of State, taking money from oligarchs in Ukraine. Pinochet is one of them, for the Clinton Foundation, while she was running her secret email system through her house. And Huma Abedin was posting, her assistant was posting Hillary's classified State Department documents on her Yahoo account, where anybody who had Huma Abedin's username and password could read everything Hillary Clinton was talking about. What Hillary Clinton was doing was adapting and changing U.S. foreign policy to meet the needs of the Pinochets who were funding her husband running the Clinton Foundation. They should have gone to prison for that. But of course, Democrats don't go to prison. This corruption is the underbelly of the New World Order. The same with Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. The underbelly is the corruption that they protect by controlling the press, the mainstream media, and the intelligence agencies. I'm not even sure the intelligence agencies don't control Klaus Schwab and Hillary, and also the military establishment. So you've got a bond here between partners in crime, which was the book I wrote about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and their Clinton Foundation, all making themselves rich. And it's come out in the last couple of days that many in Congress, Senate and Congress, are compromised by these cocaine sex parties that Washington is evidently re-engaging in. And this is a dismal situation. The corruption, the evil of this woke is a massive vulnerability once the public realizes it. The other vulnerability is what they want to do to children. And we'll get to that in a minute. But I see the situation with Iran as potentially leading to a nuclear war, as well as the situation with Ukraine. If the State Department demons get their way and we up the violence the way they want to up the violence. War is not a solution. War is the problem. War just perpetuates more war. It doesn't stop anything. We've been going through this chain of wars virtually since the beginning of human history. And certainly we thought World War I was a war to end all wars. No, World War I was a war that started World War II. World War II started the Cold War. The Cold War started what we're in today. What we're in today is headed to nuclear war. So this, again, is that the peacemakers have left. You've got the war makers. You've got John Kerry and John Podesta now. John Podesta is back in the White House. It was his emails that sunk Hillary Clinton's campaign. And I did not have a tie to Julian Assange. I refused to take the Justice Department's plea deal. They said I was lying. They did not indict me. They were the liars. I found that out. The deep, deep state lying is ubiquitous. It's all over the place. You cannot believe anything these people tell you. And I'm about to have a book coming out on the JFK assassination that's going to shock the nation. And as that comes out, I think you're going to find how long we've been being lied to by the U.S. government intelligence agencies, protecting their own criminality, their own treason. It's going to be a shocking book. But the world needs a shocking book right now. I've written them before. I'm going to do it again. Okay, now number two, the FBI, Christopher Wray, is saying that this pro-Hamas protest, which now they're shutting down highways, which is illegal. They are blocking off federal buildings. They were blocking off the State Department and Union Station yesterday. They're causing chaos in the cities, while cases are going forward against the J6ers. They're wanting to indict this Cameron. In last June, Cameron Campanella II was arrested and charged for 4 misdemeanors during the January 6th Capitol Hill uprising they call it. Okay, it's not an uprising when Hamas blocks the highways for terrorists. Hamas students who hate America, trained by the universities. And by the way, even Harvard, with another disgrace from their DEI official, this other woman plagiarizing all of her dissertation and her publications. DEI they're not academics. All they know is we got to have one race of this, one race of that, one sex of this, and one giraffe in order to have a DEI panel. But yes, animals are going to have the same rights as humans, if not more, under these people's calculation. So what Campanella did was he entered the Capitol building through the Senate wing doors at 3 p.m., walked down a corridor, returned to the vicinity of the Senate wing doors, and left the wing doors at approximately 3:01 p.m., according to the Justice Department's charging documents. And they said he was, the charging document said Campanella was not cooperative with authorities. Campanella II identified himself when federal agents asked to speak with him. The DOJ charging document said Campanella II declined to talk about the events of January 6th, but stated he was not scared and expressed his view that investigating the January 6th riot was a waste of time. But yet he pled guilty to the misdemeanors last October and was sentenced to 4 months in prison, 1 year probation, and a $500 fine for spending 1 minute in the Capitol. I think Chris got lined up to play Wray at a hearing yesterday in Congress. Chris, we want to play that clip now. I'd like this. Of course, this guy's, I think, is a congressman trying to protect Hamas, and Wray is going right along with it. Just listen to this disgraceful interchange.
Director Wray, could you assure the American public today that no nonviolent protester about a ceasefire of the Middle East will be investigated or surveilled by the FBI?
We are not going to be investigating nonviolent First Amendment activity.
And could you just assure, whatever their position is on the Middle East or the 2024 election, if there is an American who's out there engaged in expressing their view, whether that is for a ceasefire or whatever that is, the FBI is not going to be investigating them or surveilling them, correct?
Our mission is to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution, and we intend to do both. We embrace both parts of that mission. In our view, it doesn't matter what you're ticked off about or who you're ticked off at. There's a right way under the First Amendment to exercise those views, and we're going to help protect that. And there's a wrong way to exercise those views, and that's violence and threats, and we are going to investigate that.
I appreciate your saying that, because I think I share your view that the First Amendment and peaceful protest is at the heart of our democracy.
I got to remind everybody, I saw this on the internet. I don't forget which article it was in. Maybe it was the one I posted on this exact exchange, that reminds everybody that in the French Revolution, the group that was guillotining all the people they disagreed with was called the Committee for Public Safety. So here, the definition of the First Amendment is protesters who are for Hamas, they've got First Amendment rights. BLM, they got First Amendment rights. Antifa, they got BLM rights. People who are with Donald Trump, they're white supremacists. They don't have First Amendment rights. This is, I'm tempted to say exactly what I think of it, but the point is here, this is the most severe double talk and nonsense. Christopher Wray has no intention of protecting the First Amendment rights of people who support Donald Trump. He doesn't have any intention of investigating obvious voting irregularities in 2020 or in 2024, as long as they're done to defeat Trump. Now, if someone dares to do something illegal or something questionable to defeat Biden, well, they're probably going to spend the rest of their lives in prison. We cannot have a political sense of justice, because if our Department of Justice is politicized, we do not have justice, Mr. Wray. And I would call on Congress to impeach him too. Impeach the entire Biden administration, or better yet, just take the entire federal bureaucracy and send it to Death Valley and let them have all the solar and wind they want. That's my entire solution to the federal government these days. And again, we do not need to do anything but to use the laws that are available and continue to press to use the laws that are available. These trucker convoys going on around the country in the United States, heading to the border today, they should be arriving tomorrow at their destinations down on the border in California and in Texas. The farmers who are out with their tractors in Paris and Berlin are making their statement. And their statement is that no farms, no food, no future. And by the way, our brilliant EPA is probably going to find a way that even if you have a home garden, they're going to prohibit it because of carbon dioxide emissions. I don't know how that's going to, I guess from your fertilizers, because the plants emit carbon dioxide and they absorb it. So the plants are actually absorbing carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. Why wouldn't you let them have a garden? None of the ideology of this woke left makes any sense at all. They are completely lying to themselves. They don't know science. They're saying 0.04% of the atmosphere, carbon dioxide, is the temperature knob of the Earth's heat and cold. Nonsense. The sun is the largest impact. Then the ocean currents and the clouds and a lot of complex physics. Take a look at my book, Truth About Energy, Global Warming, and Climate Change, and read it. You'll begin to understand just how complex Earth's weather and climate are. And it is not a simple matter of how much we had much more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere 600 million years ago, and we've had ice ages in between. And warming period follows. Carbon dioxide increases follow warming period. They don't cause warming period, they follow it. Okay, let's continue with a couple more stories here today. The next one I want to cover has to do with the fact that they're calling it California now, California, New York, possibly New Jersey. States are facing bankruptcy again. This hasn't happened for a long time. And this is an article by Stephen Anderson of the Mises Institute, which is a very conservative economic institute, and I follow them closely. He's saying bankruptcy is a developing 21st century theme in America. We saw bankruptcy in federal government policy and spending, and through arrogance, printing money, etc. And the reality is that states are going to face defaulting on their bond debt obligation payments and their loan payments to lenders. So California and New York are seeing current and future tax revenues decrease because of net population losses, fewer private businesses, corporate real estate in the downtown areas that is unoccupied, increasing danger in the inner cities because the Democratic rule has defunded the police, with the concomitant increased progressive welfare spending and the long-term underfunded public pensions. This is a disaster. And it's the classic Cloward-Piven theory. Two sociologists, I believe, at Columbia, Cloward and Piven, who in the 1980s said the way we get Marxism is we destroy the capitalist state by spending it into oblivion with social welfare programs. And that's what they're doing. And the cities unsafe are not ready to be lived in. By the way, there's articles out today that Russia is actually building some 15-minute cities and intend to be perhaps the first country to implement them, which would limit travel because of this global warming nonsense. It's really increased totalitarianism. We're seeing federal government, the intelligence agencies running a Truman Show, constructed reality, where through crisis after crisis after crisis, they're destabilizing the normal existence, peaceful existence of an economy to bring capitalism to a grinding halt, to destroy the modern industrial state and to kill billions of people. And it is satanic. I never believed in my life I would see Satan get this free a reign, but God has evidently decided that we're going to have a final battle. And I think God will win, but it's going to be, the consequences are not going to be very pretty. They're going to be very difficult to go through, especially when we got John Podesta as the energy czar who moved into the White House. And when John Kerry had that position, his office was over in the State Department. So I guess Podesta's in to do the re-engineering of the presidential election in 2024 for whomever the Democrats pick to replace Biden and Harris. And my lead candidate for that role right at the moment is Michelle Obama. While she says she doesn't want to run, that's only to get us to beg her to run. Please do get a copy of this book on the gold, how the coming global crash is going to create a historic gold rush. I authored it with Dean Heskin, and the book is available on our website. You can call Swiss America and do call and talk to them at 1-800-519-6268. 1-800-519-6268. Also get the Walking Liberty $50 offer. You're going to need to have some gold in your holdings, even if it's just some, because you'll have some currency, gold, which has been money for ages, that appreciates in value when all of the other dollars you've got are going to be rapidly continuing to inflate. And gold has been holding at over $2,000 an ounce. It's today at $2,033 an ounce as we're broadcasting. And again, that's just about to have a big breakout because we're seeing the kinds of economic disruption that causes gold to be the asset of choice for those who want to preserve their purchasing power. Okay, as we get more into the bankruptcy story, I'm saying it's not just a wave of states that's going to go bankrupt. You probably start with cities going first and then states. And eventually the federal government is not going to be able to maintain its obligations on debt repayment, or it's just going to have to print so much money that the money is going to become worthless. So we are in a situation in which World War III is starting. We are seeing that the FBI is arresting patriots while letting criminals and woke go. But if you're white, you're a white supremacist. If you're Catholic, you're you're dangerous terrorist because you like the Latin Mass. I mean, this State Department, I don't know why we're building a new building for the FBI. I think we should be, I'd be happy to have that new building built out in the Mojave Desert or, some Death Valley is my choice of place to put them. Now, there's another couple of articles. Finally, I think the public is waking up to the nonsense of this green agenda. The South Dakota Public Utilities Commission yesterday announced that the premature closure that is planned in the state for coal plants adds to the uncertainty of electrical generation resource adequacy in the upper Midwest. And various energy experts are calling the decision to close these coal plants as irrational. So Minneapolis-based XCEL Energy closed one of 3 coal units at their Sherburne County generating plant in December as part of its plans to deliver 100% carbon-free electricity. It will shut the other 2 stations down, according to the Star Tribune, by 2030. The utility will also shutter its Allen S. King coal plant by 2028. The South Dakota Public Utilities Commission is asking Xcel Energy to reconsider the plan, warning the premature closure of these plants could threaten the generation of adequate electricity for the entire upper Midwest. And Isaac Orr, a policy fellow for the Center of American Experiment and co-author of Energy Bad Boys, just told the news that the move to shut down the plant is part of an increasingly irrational energy policy, which is aimed ultimately at producing less reliable energy. That's the goal of the Greens. It is not that they're saving the earth. Remember, that's the Committee on Public Safety was the guillotine agency, killing anyone they didn't like in revolutionary France, guillotining them all, and calling themselves, this is for public safety. As you'll see Biden say, we are for democracy, while they're trying to get Trump off the ballot on a lawfare reading of the 14th Amendment, trying to apply a Civil War Act to say the J6 was an insurgency. It is insanity. So if we're going to decarbonize, we are going to have unreliable energy throughout the United States. And the United States is surging in liquid natural gas because Europe is starting up coal plants, realizing that shutting down nuclear power plants in Germany was a bad idea. Germany's now going into a massive depression, deindustrializing, because the cost of electricity is just too high. Cost of electricity in the UK is prohibitive. People are not heating their houses in the winter in London because it's just too expensive. Okay, more insanity. The final story I want to cover today has to do with the woke agenda in the schools. So now we have a group that is telling, so it's a government school teacher in Maine who asked students to confess their unconscious biases. This is the fundamental of the woke. You've got cultural biases of white supremacy and white privilege, and you've got to confess it in order to get this out of your system and go to demonize whites, even though you are white. And so the homework assignment was to have them write a declaration of independence from something problematic in their lives, like parents or authority more broadly. Okay, so this is inherent in the woke indoctrination scheme, to have this rejection of parents. And of course, this is, highly controversial, because if you declare yourself independent from parents, you've broken one of the major social control to have students transfer their authority to the state or to the teachers' union. The only institution students are not allowed to declare from independence from, the assignment continues, is school. And this article, written by Alex Newman, who's a very good journalist, Epoch Times, makes clear that the reason that this is being done, that students are not being allowed to declare themselves independent from school, is, quote, the dangerous revolutionaries in control of public, quote, quote, education system are trying to, quote, quote, liberate the children from all forms of, quote, quote, oppression, e.g. parents, and isolate them by dismantling their identities, therefore becoming the main influences over their minds and deeds. It is a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe to walk people into slavery. I encourage you to take a good look at our website. We've made a lot of changes. If you'll take a look at these e-pipes, and Chris will show them to you on our homepage, these e-pipes are revolutionary tools that allow you to create your own social network. And we're going to be introducing them very extensively at CloutHub. But if you visit our website at thetruthcentral.com, and if you scroll down, you'll see the e-pipes. They look like cell phones with software in them. There, you can buy my books through them. And I am selling, you can buy books right, hold to that page right there, Chris, which is where you can connect with us in the sea, right there. In that e-pipe, you can connect. If you click that purple bar, click it, you'll go to a space where you can ask to be registered to the Truth Central e-pipe. We're going to be producing special content on that e-pipe. It doesn't cost you anything to be connected to it. We are going to be able to sell books on it. We're going to be able to offer newsletters. We're going to be able to do communications. And I think it's better than just collecting a newsletter, because you're going to get an active e-pipe. And the e-pipes, if you show that page, you can see how many different pipes we can create, how many messages we can push. And in fact, they're interactive, so that you can click on them, use them. Our telemed is going to be identified with it. I'm going to be launching later this month. They'll be fully operational in March. 3 telemedicine programs. Get rxmedsnow.com for the convenience of getting prescriptions from a doctor without having to go to a doctor's office. That's that site. It will be operational early in March. GetLongevityMedsNow.com. It's with Chris Burries, who owns My Vital C, and you'll be able to get meds. Chris, you can show that site, GetLongevityMeds.com, and that'll be able to get medications that are for longevity. There's many of them, and we'll be interviewing physicians and the like who can show what you can do to extend your life and to do it intelligently. And then the third one is going to be oblaconmd.com, which we're doing with the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference, provides Spanish-speaking residents of the United States with the opportunity to speak with a Spanish-speaking doctor, of whom there are very few in the country, directly. There's oblaconmd.com. And the third will be GetLongevity meds.com. All three of those are going to be operational. I've been working for 2 years to get to this point, and they're ready to go. And we have the book, which is on our website, which is Live Longer and Better. And that book is written with Chris Burries. It's available through Amazon, and you can get it by clicking the e-pipe and go directly to Amazon and ordering the book. We're also doing a lot more broadcasting. CloutHub is going to become a major source for us. We are on iHeart. We're on Spotify. We're on many, many different channels. We are on BitChute. We're on Apple Podcasts, both audio and video podcasts. So you can follow us every day. We do about a half an hour dissecting the news, and then we are increasingly doing interviews. We interviewed Roberto Albino of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference earlier this week, and it had 150,000 views on clouthub.com. This is Dr. Jerome Corsi. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back on Monday. We're doing podcasts here on thetruthcentral.com every weekday. God, in the end, God always wins. God will win here too, but it is going to be a battle, and it's going to be a battle with Satan. It's a spiritual battle, and we need to join God in the spirit of 2 Chronicles 7:14, where we get down on our knees and ask God to forgive us. We repent for having let the world get to this point, for having killed so many babies in the womb, chopping them up. Now the left wants to harvest their body parts with late-term abortions till just before the baby's born. It wouldn't surprise me if they also want to kill the baby after it's born if the mother doesn't want it. Certainly, Obama mentioned that in the Illinois legislature before he was president. I documented that in my book, The Obama Nation, in 2008. Shocking as it is, he did do it. And also we got to get God back into our schools, into our hearts, into our marriages, into our homes. God is the solution here. A godless society like Harari and the World Economic Forum only wants to kill billions of useless people. God is the only one who can bestow life. We don't have the right to take it away. Dr. Jerome Corsi, thank you for joining us. We'll be back Monday. God bless.